So this is what I'm doing today. This is a driver's side window regulator for the Volt. If you don't know, if you haven't seen on my channel, we have two first generation Chevy Volts. My kids drive them, they love them. I actually think they're pretty cool cars too, but they have this problem with the driver window regulator just being garbage. They always fail. So I went on eBay and have bought both of these Volts new window regulators because within the first year they had both of them, the window regulator went out. Went to eBay, just got them the cheap window regulators that were on there. I don't know, 60, 70 bucks, something like that. They don't have the motor on them. Got them shipped, and both of those have failed within 6 months each. So here and now telling you, do not buy those real cheap ones on eBay because they're garbage and they're going to turn around and fail. And guess what? The first one that failed, when I tried to contact them with their quote unquote lifetime warranty, I got nothing but the runaround, and that ended up just being a mess, and I gave up and didn't want to mess with it anymore. So what I bought was the Doorman. This is the one you would get from like AutoZone or whatever. Sadly, you're going to have a hard time finding them at the AutoZone in store. Even Advanced Auto Parts, all these other places, they just didn't have any of them in stock. You have to get them all ordered. So I said, why do that when I can get it on Amazon cheaper? So I bought this one off Amazon, and I'm going to be getting it installed now. This is what it is out of the box. You're going to get this box. You're going to get these two little install papers. This is the plastic and everything that's over the window regulator, and this is what the regulator looks like. Here it is sitting on the seat of his car. And this is what's going in. You're going to know this type of window regulator by having the green little plastic wheels on it, the pulleys. The other ones were white. And then straight off the bat, when I pulled this thing out of the box, I mean, you can tell this is just a higher quality piece of plastic that goes up and down on this. And this is the part that always fails. Where these cables go in over here, one of them always ends up just breaking out. So these look much higher quality, and they come with a lifetime warranty for real from the company. So if you have any kind of issues, you can get another one sent to you or get a full refund. So again, if you want to save yourself massive amounts of headache, don't get the cheap ones, get these. And they already come with the motor. So it's not like they're much more expensive because you get the motor too, right? You get a brand new motor on it and everything. The other ones did not come with the motor. You had to take this thing apart, put the motor you already have on it. So really, I'd say these are cheaper and higher quality. Anyways, enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and get this door panel removed. To do that, you can see I already pulled a little rubber piece up here. There's two screws down in here you have to take out, and you got to take out this little plastic piece here by putting a knife or something back there and popping this off, and then there's going to be a screw in there. When you do that, you're going to have to take off all the plastic pieces by hand or using a tool. You just get your hand in there and start popping them apart. Once you get those pulled off, then it's going to lift up right here because this is kind of like a hook, and it's setting straight down, and then all the hooks, the little push clamps and hooks that are on the bottom, hold it in place. So once you get that off, this should just come right off, and then, you know, I'll show you what else you got to do. All right, so here is an example of what I mean with the clips off. So I got the clips pulled off, and don't get discouraged if you've never taken this door panel off. It may be on there pretty hard, right? Those clamps go on and they stick pretty good, but you know, mine's probably been opened up a few times. They don't come off as hard. But once you get them popped up, and what makes it easier too is if you put your body kind of against the side of the door and put both hands on the bottom of that plastic door panel and pull, you know, nice and strong against it with your two hands, right? One hand might not be enough to get it. You might want to put two there and kind of pull together just so you don't break the bottom of the panel. But it does come off by just pulling those clips. Again, two screws here, one screw in there, and then popping them off. And then now, I mean, you can see it's ready to just come off. And I'm just gonna lift this off and, you know, set it to the side. I'm gonna have to unhook the speaker wires and the little handle wires here, stuff like that. And I'll show you that in a second. All right, so this is what we're looking at here. So you can see here is the door handle to unlock the door. You don't really have to take this off because you can just lay the door panel on the ground and still keep this connected and not be a problem. But what you do have to disconnect is this connector here. That operates your electric mirrors and I think the speaker, and I don't know, maybe not the speaker, but it does do the up and down controls and the door locks and everything on there. So you got to take that off, and then you can just take the whole panel, move it to the side of the door while you work on getting the regulator in. So this is what I meant by you be able to set that door panel on the ground with that still connected. And then here is the cable, and it's as simple as pushing in this little button here to, you know, release this harness here so you can pull it out, and it just hangs there. And then you got to pull off this like weatherproofing and, you know, soundproofing, whatever this is used for. It has like this tar seal on it, so you have to pull it off real nice and slow as you go around it to keep from tearing it, so you can, you know, reuse all that again. You do have to take this off next though. This same 2 screw sizes you had from the door panel when you took the other 3 out, now those 2 right here got to come out, and then you just set this aside. Then you can pull this black mat down, and again, you just want to run it down, lay it with your door panel, you know, don't tear it up or anything like that. It's useful. And there it is, pulled off. Like I said, it just has this rubber strip here, and if you just kind of go slow, it will come off the pane of the door, and you'll have it nice and exposed like this. Then it's 4 screws. It's loosen this one, don't take this one all the way out. This one, loosen it, don't take it all the way out, because those hold it hanging on there. You do take this one all the way out, this one all the way out, and this one down here all the way out. When you do that, then you should be able to just lift it up. As you can see here, there's a big hole and then a small hole. These set down in that to hold it. So when you pull it up, that'll just come up, and then you can, well, very slowly maneuver it outside of here. Now, there's another thing you got to do. It's these rubber pieces here. So you have to pull those off the bottom of your window. So that's how it works. It grabs the bottom of the glass on your window, which is this, and it lifts it and drops it using, you know, that plastic on the slide and that little piece there. So you have to take those off of the glass, and to do that, it's easiest by pulling the window all the way up, and then I put some like masking tape around the frame of the door to hold the window up. Then the plastic piece is here, and then it's like over here, and you can easily take them out. All right, so if you notice here, I've got a piece of blue masking tape, and that is because I need to hold the window up into place while you take off those bottom connectors. Now, his broke while he was trying to roll it back up, and that matters. So wherever they stopped trying to roll it up or roll it down is going to determine if you need to plug in your door panel again to run it up. Because if it was all the way down, you're going to have a hard time getting it pulled up. But if it was up, you can just pull it up by hand. This one was free, and I was able to pull it up, but I'm going to still show you what you would do if you needed to roll this up. So I connected the door panel back on. Again, you only have to connect this harness here. Connected that, and then I put his car into accessory mode by just holding down the power button on the car to start it without pressing the pedal, and that puts it into accessory mode. It doesn't crank it, technically, it just powers it. So that allows you to use the, you know, window switch and roll it up. Now, it's not gonna roll up, right, because it's broke, but you're gonna hear the motor spinning it up. And you don't have to go crazy with it, but just roll it up as much as you can. And then while you have the door panel off like this, you should be able to reach in there and grab the top part of the window and just pull it up by hand. And it, you know, may not be super easy to pull. You might want to put a hand on each side or whatever, or have someone help you. But if this thing is wound all the way down and even one of those plastic pieces is still connected to the window, you're not going to be able to get the window up. And you have to have the window up so you can go in there and take the pieces off and get the regulator out and the new one back in. All right, and now we have the window up, and this is what I mean by being able to get it. So they have a hole here. You see that nut right there? Well, that nut is what holds that plastic piece to the window and allows this thing to go up and down, pushing up the window. So I need to get in there and unscrew that nut off of it, and it will come off. And then normally you have one right here that's on the bottom of that glass, but this one actually popped off I guess when the cable busted out the plastic thing. So you would normally have one here, just like you had one before. You would normally take them both off, but this one popped off and is probably laying somewhere down in the door. I don't know. There it is, probably over there. So anyways, that's what you got to do. I'm going to do that so I can get this all removed. All right, so I've got it unscrewed here, and that thing just fell off the window when I did it. I got this one loosened, but again, leave it on. This one is loosened, but again, leave that one on. These are the two top ones. And then this one's off, this one's off, and this one's off. And now I'm gonna unhook this harness by pushing the bottom of the harness there. And be careful, because if you don't have gloves on, I don't want to pull real hard with one hand. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. But be careful if you don't, you can cut. There's sometimes sharp edges on this stuff. So either wear gloves or be careful taking these harness covers off. I'm going to do that now. All right, I pulled it off. It actually ended up coming off pretty easy. I should have been able to get it with one hand. But anyways, I now have that off. And as you can see, the whole regulator is loose. It's just hanging on by these two bolts here. So now I'm just going to lift it up, pull it off the bolt. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Push it back. And this is another reason why you want that glass up, because if the glass isn't up, you don't have enough room to take this thing out. So you have to have the glass up. Then you're going to be able to barely have enough room to maneuver this thing out. So I'm going to get it out now, and we'll find the little clips that broke and fell into the door. All right, and here is the injured door regulator. So, comment I'm going to put here, it's pretty important. This is the part that broke, right? So see this plastic piece just broke right off. Here's the rest of it. This is supposed to actually be one piece. This, if you notice when I was showing, it was not on the bottom of the window. This will fall down into the crevice of your door. And if you do not get that thing out of there before putting your other one in, you will not have to worry about listening to the radio, because you will have the wonderful sounds of this thing rattling in your door everywhere you go. No matter where it's at, no matter if you got to get a little stick or whatever you got to do to get it out of the deepest crevices of that door, you get these things out. So just letting you know that. So that's what broke. And normally I'd have to take this motor off and put that motor on the other regulator and all that other BS with the little cheap regulators you get on eBay. But I didn't do that this time. Again, I bought the supposedly better ones, and I'm going to try them out, make sure they're good. But they've had really good reviews. People said they don't have any issues with them like they do these, and they actually have a real warranty, other than these people just ghosting you after you buy them. So now I don't need to do anything else with this. I may need to take these screws off. These are the ones that were holding it, and I said don't take all the way out. I may need to use these again. I got to look at the other regulator, but if you do, you just finish taking those off and use those to install the other regulator. All right, so I'm looking at the new regulator, and it does come with the bolts to hang it. Those are the two top hanging bolts. It did not come with the other three bolts that you tighten down. So you're going to put these two in there to hang it, and then when we're done getting the window and everything put on, we're going to put the other three from the other regulator back on here to tighten it all down. So here's what you're going to have to hook up to the bottom of your window, and this one too. And don't worry, it's not hard. I think this is fourth regulator I've put in these things. We've actually had 3 volts. We have 2 now, but one of them got wrecked, and I had to do this on that one before that one was wrecked. So fun times, right? All right, so anyways, I'm gonna get this now put in, and I'll show you what it looks like hanging. All right, here's the fun that I've done so far. All right, it wasn't actually very hard to get this in there, which is good. The hanging bolts were nice to have on it, and they let me hang it up there with no problem. I did come in, these aren't tightened all the way down, but they're hand tight all the way in to kind of hold it in place, because these, when you're hanging them, they go a little lower, and these bolts don't line up. So I wanted everything to line up just right. I put the power plug in for the window regulator, because I'm going to need to push these up to get to these holes right here where you can access the bolt there. Same thing here. So I want those to slide up all the way up. I don't want them to hit the window. I want them to get close to the window. That way I can loosen it, the bolt that's on there, which opens that rubber piece up. Then I can push it all the way up and grab the window, and then I can tighten them down. All right, so let me give you an update on what I did here. I did plug in the door panel and get the window switch connected so I could move these up, but I didn't move them all the way up. I actually moved them up just a little bit so I could loosen the bolt and be able to spread the little end of that where it goes into the window. So that way it would just go right up and sit on the window. I did the same thing on this side, so that way it sat up there. Now I don't have them tightened in, and before you tighten them in, you got to make sure that the window is actually setting between the 2 plates. So again, if you look earlier in the video, there's like a piece of rubber that goes over one side and then the same on the other, so that way the window can go right in between those two pieces of rubber. Then when you screw that in, it's going to tighten on the window with those rubber pieces and hold it real nice and tight. So if you look here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You see those little rubber pieces there? All right, let me get it focused. So you'll see some rubber pieces there. The window is sitting in between those rubber pieces. So now I'm going to, come in here, make sure everything's good. I can feel the window and I can feel the pieces on each side of the window. So it's sitting in there good. Now I'm going to tighten this down to get a good grip on that window. And the same thing here, I got to use my other hand. I'm going to reach in there and make sure that the window is in between those two rubber pieces really well. I'm going to wiggle it a little bit, make sure that it's seated well, and then I'm going to tighten both of those up. All right, so I did tighten those up. They were seated in there well. Now I'm going to come up here and take off this tape up here. Actually, I'm going to do that now. And if you take it easy, you shouldn't mess up your paint or anything like that. All right, so that's off. The window, of course, is still holding nice and tight. So now I'm going to double check everything, make sure I've hooked everything back up properly. And then I'm going to start putting the matting on and everything else, get the door panel back on. All right, and here we are with the matting put back on. You can just push it, and if you want it to really sit good, you push it and push along that whole rubbery, tacky part of it. Now, there are some little things here, these little indentions help you line it up to make sure you're getting it back where it was supposed to be. And then I bolt this back on. Basically, it's everything in reverse, but now I'm going to hook up the harness, the electrical harness here, and I'm going to then hang it, get it over this door, lock thing here, get it hung on this ridge nice and smooth and straight, make it seat properly there. And then when you do that, those plastic snaps on the bottom should snap right in with no problem. Then, you put the 3 bolt screws, whatever they are, back into it, snap the plastic piece in, put the rubber thing on, and you're good to go. So I'm going to do all of that right now. Then I'm going to get the car tested up and down on the window, make sure there's no squeaking or popping or anything like that. And then I think we're done. All right, so I've got the car cranked up. Well, turned on, whatever you want to call it. I am testing out the window. The window's doing great. And I just wanted to check all of that before I finish getting all the screws done. But no popping. Yeah, no crunching, no popping, no scraping sounds, nothing like that. Sounds like it did before. So that's really it. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, put the screws and stuff back in, put the little rubber piece and the little plastic piece back in there, but that's it. That's all you really got to do to get this stuff changed. I hope this was helpful. If you like these videos, like I said, we got 2 volts. We're, strangely enough, fixing to get 3 more. So we are going to have 5 volts. And if you have a volt and you want to see all the stuff I'm going to have to do to these things, subscribe to the channel, like these videos, comment down below. But until then, thank y'all very much for watching. Take care.